Today, we're going to talk about one of the most prestigious and recognized brands in the world of electric vehicles, and I'm sure that when you hear this name, one name comes to your mind: Tesla. Just by hearing this name, I bet the first thought that comes to mind is high-performance electric cars and sustainability, right? And of course, the name behind all of this is Elon Musk, an iconic and visionary figure who is closely associated with this brand. You might think he is the owner of it all, but he is a man of many achievements with very ambitious projects, such as SpaceX, whose goal is to take humans to Mars. You may also know Neuralink, which plans to implant chips in our brains to facilitate learning. With all that, his electric car brand, Tesla, often puts him in the spotlight. But believe me, he is far from being the founder of Tesla, and that's what we're going to talk about today. To get to that, we need to go back in time a bit, precisely to the year 1997. Were you alive in that year? During that period, an electrical engineer named Martin Eberhard worked at a technology company called Wise Technology, an independent manufacturer of cloud computing systems, which we now call cloud computing. It was during this time that he also met his future business partner, Mark Tarpenning, who would soon become his partner in business, specifically in the business we're going to talk about today. Together, they created a company called Nuvo Media, whose main product was an ebook reader called the Rocket eBook, something similar to what we know today as the Kindle from Amazon. 3 years later, they sold the company for an impressive amount of a mere $187 million. With financial security guaranteed, the two decided it was time to change direction and embark on a new challenge: electric cars. You might be wondering how they went from an ebook reader to an electric car manufacturer, especially one focused on sports cars. Interestingly, the answer involves a divorce. In the same year he sold his company, Martin Eberhard divorced his wife, and with millions in the bank, he decided to buy a sports car. However, concerned about the planet's sustainability, he couldn't find a supercar that wasn't fuel guzzling. They all consumed too much. That's when he and Mark decided to create their own electric sports car. Now let's fast forward to 2003. With an innovative idea in mind, Martin and Mark embarked on their project that would result in what we now call the Tesla Roadster, Tesla's first car. During their work at Nuvo Media, they came into contact with a promising technology: lithium-ion batteries. It was these batteries that they decided to use in their car, replacing the traditional lead-acid batteries that wouldn't offer much range. They were only good for starting the car. However, building everything from scratch was not a viable option. Instead, they partnered with two companies, AC Propulsion, an automaker from California, and the famous Lotus, a British automaker. AC Propulsion had already developed a fully electric prototype car that could accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 4 seconds, an impressive feat that no other electric vehicle at the time could match. So, Martin and Mark made a deal with AC Propulsion to use their motor technology. But they still needed an actual vehicle to house this motor, and that's where Lotus came into the picture. In order for this project to be successful, the car had to meet certain requirements, and the Lotus Elise, or Lilac as some call it, one of Lotus's models, fit perfectly because it was compact, fast, and very sporty. So, our two entrepreneurs went to the Los Angeles Auto Show, where they practically forced the Lotus team to listen to their proposal. What does a savvy entrepreneur do when they have investors or incredible opportunities? Lotus invited the duo to fly to England and present the project in more detail. After that meeting, Lotus agreed to build the vehicle for them, and on July 1, 2003, Tesla Motors was officially founded. But, like any good story, there were still many obstacles to overcome. But to continue this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave your like if you're enjoying it so far. But getting back to the point, with a car to be produced and cutting-edge technology to implement, Tesla Motors began serious development in mid-2004. However, money was starting to run out. In the beginning, Martin and Mark were able to finance the company with their own money and some investments from family and friends. But as you can imagine, that was definitely not enough to set up an entire production line. They needed real, substantial financing. Luckily, Elon Musk had just sold PayPal to eBay for a whopping $1.5 billion, receiving $175 million for his share in the company. Martin and Mark sent an email to Musk, asking for the opportunity to present their project, and Musk, who was understandably enthusiastic, invested $6.35 million in April 2004 to help Tesla take off. With this, he became the chairman of the company's board until 2008. Musk would invest over $70 million in Tesla, but despite Musk's investment, the leadership of the company still remained in the hands of Martin and Mark. Thanks to Bush's initial investment, Tesla took a major leap forward in November 2004 when their first prototype was ready. It was none other than a Lotus Elise equipped with AC propulsion technology. The car impressed everyone with its performance, and after 2 more years of research and development, Tesla finally launched the Roadster on July 19, 2006, in Santa Monica. The car had a price tag of $100,000, which today would be equivalent to around 500,000 reais. Even with the high price, people were willing to invest in Tesla. In fact, just 2 weeks after the Roadster's debut, 127 cars had already been sold. However, the cars didn't actually hit the streets until 2008. Despite some obstacles, Tesla became a huge success and the first successful electric car manufacturer in decades in the United States. But behind the scenes of the company, things weren't going so well. Tensions were growing between Elon and Martin for reasons that we may never know for sure. What we do know is that in August 2007, Martin received an angry phone call from Elon Musk. In that call, Martin found out that the Tesla board had met without his presence and decided to remove him from the position of CEO. Technically, he hadn't been fired, just demoted to president of technology. But Martin knew what all this was starting to mean. Later, he said to Business Insider, "I couldn't hear what they were saying. I couldn't defend myself. I felt completely betrayed." He ended up resigning, and so did Mark. In 2009, Martin sued Tesla, claiming that Musk was trying to rewrite history, asserting that Musk was trying to take credit for what he and Martin had done. The lawsuit also noted that the company was deliberately portraying Musk as the founder, which, as we know today, is something that almost everyone believes, but that Martin wasn't the type to back down without a fight. He filed a counter-lawsuit against Musk. Later that same year, Martin even dropped his charges. It seems that he and Musk reached an agreement outside the courtroom, and that's probably why the whole case remains shrouded in mystery, like a black box. There's no doubt that both Martin and Musk contributed immensely to making Tesla what it is today. However, it seems a bit unfair that Martin has been completely overshadowed by the enigmatic Elon Musk. Perhaps that's the inevitable fate of any company whose co-founder is Elon Musk. The fact is that Tesla wouldn't be the superstar of the automotive industry it is today without the genius and perseverance of Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, the true heroes of Tesla. Without the partnership of these two men, Tesla wouldn't exist today, and Musk wouldn't have a car to send into space. And if you want the latest updates on Tesla, and if you enjoyed this video and liked what I said, don't forget to leave your like. But don't leave just yet. I'll be playing a video on the screen now, where I talk about how Elon Musk has leaked information about 5 new Tesla models and cars coming in the next few years. I don't know if you understand what I just said. There will be 5 new cars, and in this video on the screen, I talk about them. So, go check it out. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have new videos every day. See you tomorrow.